Okay, I've been wanting to make a Jawa Harp for a while. I also fill my day up with Jawa Harp videos. So we're just going to combine them. I'm just going to go one step at a time, a harp start to finish. And I probably won't be able to show every single moment in this, but here's what we're doing. I'm first going to stress, if you're working out in the shop, make sure to wear safety glasses, wear hearing protection, wear respiratory protection, and pay attention. It is very, very easy to injure yourself in the shop when working with tools and power tools. Now, what I'm starting off with here is every Jawa harpist, when you start building harps, you are going to struggle and you are going to make harp after harp after harp, and each one is just going to get a little bit better, and you're going to have to learn from your mistakes. I've had people message me, what exactly do I do? Give me the exact measurements, exactly what to do. I'm like, no, that's not what you're going to do. What you're going to do is you're going to start experimenting, and you're going to come up with your own style of doing things, and you're going to learn from your mistakes. Now, what I do is I work with 3/16 inch key stock. This is 3/16 inch precision ground. It's what I've liked to work with the most. Now, I have used regular cold rolled key stock in the past. It's worked fine, except for my suppliers started getting really, really rounded edges. I don't want to deal with that, so I started buying the much more expensive precision ground. Now, I've got a template that I've been developed over years. This is my Jawa Harp Johnson pattern. Essentially, this is that bend, boom. Second measurement there gives me my D2 measurement. And if you look, each harp grows out for the second measurement. That would be boom. That would be that harp right there. If you see, that is that arm, that bend right there. And here's the next bend. Then there's that middle portion. Boom. If we rotate along there, boom, that is that part of the arm. And here is the last part of the arm for that. That's my D2 Jawa Harp Johnson. And here is my A1 Sharp Jawa Harp Johnson. Same thing. If we notice, the only difference is the variance in the arm. So we see here, over to this measurement, to right there. I'm actually the third mark. Right here is that arm, where this one is second mark there. Here's third mark. Boom. That's how I vary up my harps. And here would be a Jawa Harp Johnson first mark along this template. Boom. It is right there to that first mark. So what I do when I make French shapes, and a lot of other harp makers will do this, is the variance is the length. Now, if you're watching my old videos, that was the hollow bone. Here is my template for that. It's a 3-bend instead of being like the Jawa Harp Johnson was a 4-bend pattern. There are 4 bends. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we have 1, 2, 3. So we have that middle bend for the arms. Oh, there we go. That middle bend right there for the arms. And boom, there are my variants of length. But I really like, as opposed from a 3-bend pattern to a 4-bend pattern, the 4-bend pattern is easier for me to do final adjustments. So let's stay with the Jawa Harp Johnson. And what I've done here, see if we can keep that center. There's the harp. There's this bend. There we go. There's that bend. There's that. Okay. So, and actually, what I'm showing is this one, the D. So I have some that I've already cut and marked to this. You're going to have to do some experimentation. You're going to have to see where you're at. I've got 2. When I normally do my bends, I'll do a couple at once, so I don't have to avoid taking down the machine and re-putting it back up. Now, a little talk about this. If we look at these blanks here, this is what we have. I've cut it. I've marked it several locations. My first bend is going to be my arms, which is these. My second bend is to bring them around. My third bend is to finish up my harp shape. Wow, this is interesting, doing this drawing while I'm looking at the screen. Okay, so I didn't show the cutting and marking of these, but let's show the cutting and marking of the next one. What I like to do is we're going to go we're going to go one further. We're going to go to my longest pattern. I'll just mark that. There we go, from this point to this point. This will be my largest frame shape. So instead of being the shorter, I've got short, medium, long, and then I've got extra long variants in the arms. And I've got, I think, even one size longer than this. And I could extend that out, but eventually it's going to become too long and I'd have to go to the thicker material. Okay, so I've got this marked here. I'm putting on some safety glasses. What I've got here is a giant pair of bolt cutters. Now you could absolutely use yourself a hacksaw, cut-off saw, however you want to cut this. Just make sure if you're using a hacksaw and you're clamping it that you don't start warping this. So we don't want any warpage of the material. I'm going to take, why don't we just, we're going to scroll back. Boom. Now this thing, in my experience, goes flying. So I want to be right on there. I actually normally do this on a bench, which you cannot see. Oh, you can see it. I'll go right on there. I'm going to hold on to it so I can snap it. Okay, there we have our longest width has been snapped. The next thing I'm going to do, you can hear Diesel the dog is chewing back there, is I'm going to mark this as accurately as I can. And I am literally looking through a computer screen or through my phone screen. So I'm just going to move here. Sorry if my hands are blocking, but it is important that I do this as correctly as possible. Don't get in a hurry here when marking your bends. I'm going to take it one step further. It's easy for these marks to come off. So once I've marked it all the way, ooh, there's some variance right there. Look at that. Erase that. Diesel's just going to town on a bone over there. Try to get it even. It's easier to get it even if you're not staring through or have a phone right over the top of you. But I like these downward shots for the video. Ooh, there we go, we're off a little bit. These downward shots for the videos, they provide a better grasp of what's going on than, you know, a right angle shot or like looking at it from the side. What I'm going to do, this is just a Nicholson 3 square file. Just going to put a little nice score there. I like these marks when they're left on the harp, but they also tell me throughout, it's getting all around, throughout the process where those arms should be. It looked like I got off a little bit. Can also do this with, I think these might have been done with an engraver. Oh, it is February and I'm going hoarse. I wonder if this will air this weekend or next weekend. It'll probably air next weekend. I've pretty much got all the content scheduled for this weekend already. This is easier having it clamped in the vise, but for the purpose of video, we're just going to keep it right here. Oh, no. Don't skid around now. Okay, looks like we've got marked all the way around there. On these, so we're going to do 3 of these all at once. But first, I'm going to dress that edge. See that edge there? These edges, I've knocked them down, made them smooth. It's easiest to knock them down and make them smooth while they're still in the straight format. So let's head on over to the bench grinder. Okay, now I'm wearing my safety glasses. It's time to put on hearing protection 2. Protect your hearing, protect your eyes. Now what I'm going to do is, see this where I cut this off? I need to score that off straight. And when I'm working along here, if you notice, on a lot of people's bench grinders, you'll see when you look down from the top, one side will be worn more than the other, because handedness, you have a tendency to push more and harder and grind better on one side. I like to go back and forth, so this is a great opportunity. I'm a little bit high on this side, so I'm going to grind a little bit of that off and square this up. And as I'm going, you're going to see me turning. I like having a variable speed bench grinder. You can have it way high. I'll have it about midway. A little bit better. Hopefully my head's not in the way when I'm doing this. I'm trying to get my head right over the top, looking straight down so I can see that my stone is grinding evenly. Okay, I've got that scored off. Oh, pretty well square. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but try to get it square. Keep in mind you are on a curved surface. I'm going to take them on bevel. There we go, look at that. This is pretty well square. There we go. You see, just from the work I've done, how it's putting a line, a little depression in that grinder wheel. Now, this still feels kind of rough. I'm going to take it over my wire wheel here. And I'm going to just dress the end. I'm not going to go up and down it because this is a nice sharp edge. I paid the money for precision ground. I have a nice sharp edge. I don't want to go abrading that edge away. So I'm just going to be dressing this end here, the end of the harp. That contacts the inside of your lip or your mouth. You want it to be nice and smooth. Helps if you have a light source you can look into. A lot of times I'll leave like a window open, and that way I can look through it. There we go. If it feels good on the finger, it'll probably be smooth enough for your mouth. If you feel and there's sharp edges or sharp edges or ridges, go ahead and you're going to have to clean those up. But that feels nice. No sharp edges. Let's go on over to our bender. Okay, so what I have here is a big bender. We'll scroll back a little ways. You can see in my garage. This is a Diacro 1A. However, most people are going to just make their own bender. I opted for buying one. But what I have is a way that I can bend this material on its edge. Dies. This is a very, very expensive machine, but I had dies milled out so that I can hold and bend the material on its edge in this diamond shape pattern. See how it can bend on its edge? It is milled out. case hardened so it can bend on its edge. I think I was in this one right here. I need to make sure I'm in the same exact one. I'm going to be putting it in there and using it to clamp and bend and hold. But then I have my stop, and I've spent a lot of time figuring out where my stop's going to work best. Careful when working with machines like this. If you over tighten, there's special washers that will bust in lieu of cracking the casting. You don't want to crack the casting. I've got marked out on here where my bends are. Hope you can see well. Go with that one. I've got so many marks on here, I can't remember which ones are right. We're going to figure out though. So I'll keep my light handy. It's been a while since I've been up harp frames. Was that my triangular mark? We'll see. See where this gets us. Now there can be some variance. Hold that. 2, 3. Now that, I think, is way too much of a bend. We're just going to match it. My bending, I need to make sure that I'm bending kind of halfway, sort of straight. I do believe I'm in the wrong location here. I'll move to this other position that I've marked. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, that is definitely not the correct bend. I think that's hollow bone. So that piece, and this precision ground key stock's really expensive, so you really don't want to make any mistakes. I think that's my mark right there. I've got a marked triangle on it. This will be more better. I'm gonna keep, I want people to know that I've been making for 6 or 7 years on and off, here and there, and I'm still making mistakes. And you're going to, in your harp building, you're gonna make some mistakes. Shipanov gave really good advice. He said, write down everything you do on every single harp so that you can chart what the results are, and that is very, very smart thing to do. I couldn't agree with that more. So in your harp building journey, write down what you're doing. Now what I'm going to do, this one I bent way too much. Let's try this here. Try another of the D2 frame here. I'm going just to where I've notched out. There we go. What's that? What is that bend there? Actual analog of the harp that this is. Okay, that is that bend. What? How many degrees are? Let's see here. One of these things can be useful. Was it about 26 degrees? And with the degrees that you'll bend are going to vary. So your frame shape, you're going to have to do some building and see what bends you can do. You'll probably be better off doing hot bends or bends by hand. First, let's see, let's go. Boom, there's my stop. Okay. What do we have here? That is that bend. It's going to wrap around and turn into that. Let's go ahead and we're going to do my longer format, which I think is this length. Oh, this one's going to be super long. Let's go ahead. Let's make these bends. Two, three. I found it's best to just do the bend in one thing. Don't press and go and press and go. You'll have too much variance. Metal has spring back, so just do your bend in one bend if you can. The times when I bend it multiple times to get to my mark, things get a little wonky. 2, 3, boom. Make sure that you're doing your two bends out like this, because they are literally going to wrap around and become the harp. Here, I'll grab the one. Oh, there goes the microphone. Boom. This literally wraps around, becomes the harp. But I don't want to just move to my next location and make these bends all the way through, because I'm going to do some sharpening and some aligning these edges. This precision ground, it's pretty sharp, but it's not as sharp as I want yet. Sharp edge, sharp sound. So we're going to take advantage of this and do some sanding or do some honing of these edges before we move to our next location. Okay, now we've got pieces and we're going to hone them. Sits pretty flat. If you can push down on one edge and one edge raises up, you know that you're not bent on a straight line. Alleviate that before you continue making any bends. But come over here. I've got some dia-sharp plates here. Got a coarse, extra coarse, a coarse, a medium, and a fine. I'm doing. How long do we have to be for this? To right here. A little bit further. Probably. It's been a while since I've honed out here. There we go. What I'm going to want to do is I'll be taking and I'll be making sure to keep this down flat. So I'll be checking myself every once in a while. I'm going to come down here. I don't know how it's going to look on the video. Make sure I'm wearing it down flat. I like uninterrupted surface dia-sharp plates because unlike stones, they remain good and flat. Careful not to let it roll up on you. Kind of want to get it to the point where it doesn't reflect light. Better. It looks like I'm getting down there. Here, the camera's probably able to pick up better what I need to do than what I'm even looking at. When I make a harp, it's a labor of love. I don't get in a hurry. Getting closer. Still got a long ways to go. There we go. Now I got the pressure right. We're seeing that edge there, which if we look at these edges, they're wide and broad. They catch a lot of light. Look here, we're getting less light caught on there, which means I am closing in on sharpening that. Got to be careful not to sand any one place more than the other. You end up with a imperfectly straight. The straighter you can keep this line, the better it will be for sound quality. Because you have to line up the edge of a sharpened reed on there. Yep, we're almost there, except for at the end. This means I'm putting more pressure here than I am here, so I need to put a little bit of pressure up toward the tip without rocking it. Getting smaller. Ooh, that's getting better. Let's see how that catches the light. Look at that. We're getting about there. I'm going to start putting some pressure down here. We're getting better. I used to make all of my bends and then do this honing with it in the vise. It's just so much easier to do before your other bends are made. I like to make my first two bends, do my honing, then make my last two bends. So we're getting better. We're almost there to where I can switch grits. Let it be therapeutic. Let it be a meditational thing. I believe a part of the maker goes into the harp they're working on. So just like when you're in the garden, you don't want to be all stressed and angry and anxious. Same thing with the harp. Your energy goes in the harp. Be relaxed. Let that energy of relaxation go into the harp. Your output's going to, or your finished product's going to come out so much nicer. Even if you're cooking food, make sure you're calm, good energy, enjoying what you're doing, and it's going to go so much better. Let's see that. That looks about where we want. Let's switch over. We're going to switch to the coarse from the extra coarse. That way we can polish this. When you're using a bracelet like this, think of it like this. You're scratching the surface of it. You're scratching to remove metal, and every finer grit files away or scratches away your bigger scratches and leaves tinier scratches. You can see that. You can see we're going from really big scratches on up to tinier scratches. See there? So we're just polishing. When you get away from the coarse, you can be a little bit less careful because you're removing less metal. When you're using coarse, you can remove a bunch of metal in a place that you don't want very, very easily. We're getting there as compared to the old edge, which is wide and broad. Much, much finer, sharper edge. Yeah. A little bit toward the tip. I'll put pressure where I want to remove more. Oh, we're so close. That edge, you can't even catch light on it anymore. That's a good sign. Catch a little bit of light down here toward the beginning, so I'm going to put some pressure here. There we go. See, I have a little bit of polishing left to do right there. Not too shabby. Nice edge. Yeah, I'm liking that. Yeah, I'm liking that. Let's trade on up to the fine. I won't go to extra fine on this. That's no reason to polish the inside of my embouchure that much. Tell this fine is a newer plate. I haven't hardly used it at all. It's cutting very, very nicely. We'll call it good with that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat on the other side. Actually, I could get that just a little bit more. I know where I need to put the pressure. I'm kind of rocking a little bit. I'll avoid rocking. There we go. We're starting to polish away those very, very light scratches. Yeah. We'll call it good with that. Look at that. Nice. Not really catching. Ooh, I'm catching a little bit of light there at the tip. Let's see if we can just. Yeah. Call it good with that. We'll repeat the other side. Alright, now we're finishing up. I've used coarse and extra coarse on this. I'm just going to take this for a little spin on the fine. We could probably even go a little bit further. Useful there to the end. Just take really decisive strokes. So easy to rock a little bit, but you don't want to rock. If you're rocking back and forth as you abrade, you're going to be rounding edges or creating imperfect planes. Now I have not come up with a. Ooh, that's good. Ooh, there's a little bit right there. Have not come up with a way to do this fully automated to get as perfect as an edge as I can by hand. Because I do spend a significant amount of time honing embouchures. In the future, I'll probably look for a way to do this a little bit more quickly. But until then, continue the hand way. There is something therapeutic to be said about sharpening. I don't have to get every single scratch out. I do want as precise of an edge as I can. I think that's what I'm on the way to getting here. Closer. I don't normally go all the way to the edge with my coarse, my extra coarse. Each abrasive I get a little bit closer to the edge. Because if I do, I will be putting scratches in the edge. I want to put as fine as scratches I can. We're so close. So right in the middle. Right in the middle there I have incomplete edge. I'm almost there. Okay. Edge is almost where I want it. Yeah, say that's good there. We're going to take this and go bend it now. Okay, now we have our two bends here. We're going to move or stop here to my other spot that I have predetermined. And then once I do that, it's going to look like a much more completed jaw harp frame, but we have a long ways to go on this jaw harp build, many hours, and that's okay. I take my time. I don't want to rush through the harp process and have a harp that has lesser sound than what I could have achieved with the knowledge and time and patience that I have. So okay. So hopefully the mic's working. It's always a bummer to film content and then discover, oh, your microphone's not working. I'm gonna go to the edge of that. Oh, come on now. It really helps. I'm really glad that when I do this, I go ahead and take a file and mark these. Because if you just lift a pencil mark, you're gonna be marking and remarking. Now I do believe this is the correct setting. I'm hoping so. So we're just gonna go ahead and make our bend. Boom, one bend. There we go. If we look at our harp, boom, we're getting closer to that being or becoming that harp. So let's do our other bend. I've been recording before, and the microphone has been off before, so it's a bummer to be recording and talking and thinking, oh God, I'm recording. I was making a video this morning actually, and I was talking and nailed the take, but then realized, oh, I'm not actually even recording. Okay, here we are. Let's see how we do. Okay, here we are. We've went from a straight piece to a bent piece to now honed. Now we're getting closer to our actual harp. So this is going to be probably a 5 or 10 part series, I'm not sure, but stick with us for the next part of building a jaw harp. Next thing I'm going to want to do is, there's always a little bit of wonkiness in the frame. I'll be sure to take that out in the next video.